Very good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for what I hope is an exciting panel. A real pleasure to be with you all here this morning. So, our panel today is hopefully an insightful, exciting one. We're going to be discussing sustainable cities at the intersection of economy and environment. We have three incredible guests for you this morning, real intelligent speakers talking about their experiences on how they've made this work. So, we will be talking about the development of sustainable cities, something we're working so hard to do in this part of the world, but we're going to be hearing from experts from Germany with backgrounds in Australia, America, and they will tell you what they're doing there and how we can implement some of those things in our part of the world. So we will be talking about that delicate balance we have between economic growth, environmental protection, and social equity. Project management tools and techniques can play a crucial role in this kind of development. So we'll be listening to them, hear all about what they do to provide a structured approach to planning, execution, and monitoring sustainable urban development initiatives. We're going to be looking at that intersection of sustainability, economy, and of course project management, discussing those strategies that mitigate environmental impact, promote economic growth, and enhance quality of life in urban areas. So lots to take in, lots to learn. Without further ado, let's welcome our panel to the stage. We have three speakers for you. We have Ibrahim. He is the CEO of the rail agency at Dubai's Roads and Transport Authority, as we know them here, RTA. He has over 30 years of leadership experience in the public sector. Mr. Abdul Mohsen has played a pivotal role in shaping this city's world-class transportation infrastructure. I'm sure many of you arrived here today on some of that infrastructure. It works so well. It's such a slickly oiled machine, so we have him to thank for some of that amazing infrastructure we have today. His vision has driven the landmark projects such as Dubai Metro, Tram. You've seen the shuttle bus bringing many of the guests, many of the delegates here today, and that's the kind of thing we're talking about, joined up thinking how we can make this work together. So he will be talking to us about a lot of his experience. He spearheaded initiatives that saved 25 billion dirhams in development and operational costs for the company. Mr. Abdul Mohsen brings unparalleled insights into leveraging public-private partnerships to create those sustainable, efficient urban transport systems. We also are joined by our next panelist, who is Timothy Papandreou. He is the founder and CEO of Emerging Transport Advisors and a global thought leader. He is an experienced keynote speaker. He takes to stages like this to talk to people about his ideas. Some of his previous experience is outstanding. He's had past roles at Google X, Waymo, and Waymo hailing services. He helped launch groundbreaking innovations, including the world's first fully self-driving ride-hailing service, something that we're really focused on here as well. So we have lots to hear from in terms of Tim. He is a former Chief Innovation Officer at San Francisco's MTA. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that, indeed, and he championed sustainability and equity in urban mobility. His expertise spans shared electric and automated transport and offers forward-thinking perspectives on how technology can shape sustainable futures. So some of his expertise really lies in how we can apply that to everyday systems. Finally, we have Frank Wolters. He is the managing director of Tegel Projekt GmbH in Berlin. If you're unfamiliar, the former airport site, which is now having huge regeneration. He's heading up that project there. He has a rich background in economic development, real estate, and technology. So it spans municipal leadership and strategic planning for innovation in Germany. By training, he's a civil engineer and geographer, and he's uniquely positioned to discuss how strategic urban planning can integrate environmental, economic, and social priorities to redefine modern cities. So an exciting conversation ahead. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Please welcome our panel. Thank you very much for joining us, gentlemen, this morning. So, I gave a brief introduction about all of you and your experience here because I think this is an interesting conversation we're going to be having this morning. And I will start by asking you a couple of questions, in particular about your expertise. I will, Mr. Abdul Mohsen, start with you. First of all, thank you very much for joining us today. A real pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much.
And as I was arriving here this morning, I noticed that, lots of people were coming off the shuttle buses. It must make you smile when you think, that's it working. The system is working, people are using it, and it's just part of everyday life here.
Yes, thank you very much.
So, what I would like you to tell us a little bit about is the role of public transportation networks, particularly metro networks, in supporting the goals of sustainable cities. Every time there's a rumor, an announcement about a metro station perhaps coming to the city, people get excited. Hopefully it's near me. Hopefully it's going to be by my house. So tell us a bit more about those roles of public transportation networks. And if you can, find some examples from sustainable cities around the world.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much. I'm pleased and honored to be here in this strategic importance forum. We'll take a moment just to, talking broadly about the sustainability of cities. It's very broad perspective, and just linking that sustainability of the cities with the public transportation, as mentioned, it's important. So as per United Nations projection of the growth of the cities, it is projected that 70% or 2/3 of the people will be living in the cities. This urbanization or rapid urbanization will bring a huge challenges to the cities. It will bring a large amount of pressure on the cities. But the urbanization itself, it's not a real challenge by itself. The real challenge is providing the seamless mobility to the cities and providing the right solution, the efficient solution to the mobility of the cities. I believe personally that public transport must lead the way, providing sustainable, inclusive, and efficient solution to ensure cities remain livable and connected with the people. Now, talking about the public transportation and how that will have impact positively on the sustainability, I would like to mention a few points here, one of which how the public transportation will benefit the sustainability. One area is the public transportation will reduce the traffic congestion. It will also reduce the emission. In Dubai, we have been able to reduce or to increase the share, the public transportation share, from 6% in 2006 to 19% in 2023.
It's incredible.
This is the highest increase rate compared to any other cities in the world. And if you look at the car occupancy rate in Dubai, it is 1.4 per vehicle. What does that mean? It means 1.4 person in the car, in the private cars moving in the city. So with the simple calculation, every single bus with the capacity of 70 passengers will take off 50 vehicle trips from the road. And similarly, a single train with a capacity of 700 passengers will take off 500 vehicle trips off the roads. So daily, we take off 1 million vehicle trips from the streets. That shows the power of the public transportation in contributing to the sustainable cities. Investing in public transportation is not only essential for the present, but it is crucial, it is important and critical for shaping the future of the cities. And if we talk the other point related to the benefits and how the public transportation will contribute to the goals of sustainable cities is the accessibility and connectivity for all. That's what public transportation brings to the cities. The connectivity, the accessibility should and must come at the heart of designing any transportation city in any way. Here is where the concept of inclusive mobility comes to light. So bringing, for example, just an example of London, which recently launched, maybe 2 years, the Elizabeth line, will connect 1.5 million jobs to the Greater London by reducing the travel time by 50%. This is how the connectivity of the public transportation provides to the cities. Last but not least, encouraging the transit-oriented concept. The cities, when it expands, it becomes more challenging for the people to use the public transportations. So how we try to bring the people closer to the stations, how we try to get people live into the closer areas to the public transportations, lines and the stations. It's very important here where the transit-oriented development concept becomes very important and vital for designing designing the cities. This is not only responsibilities of the policymakers and the city planners, but also the developers, the citizens who should realize how important it is for the city. An example here is the Hong Kong MTR, where 50% of the citizens in Hong Kong lives within 1 kilometer of the stations. And if we talk about the transit-oriented development, you will see very clearly in, let's say, example in Hong Kong again is the Cologne Tower and Union Square there, where it brings integrations with the residents, with the hotels, with the leisures, and it makes the public transportation the lifestyle in the city, and it becomes there and blended naturally into their life to make it one of the best choice to make in the city.
And Timothy, if I can bring you in here, you're nodding your head because connectivity is that word that keeps coming up here. Right. You have lots of expertise. San Francisco's MTA is another fine example of connecting people. How can we innovate mobility solutions, whether electric transport, smart toll systems, to contribute to that sustainability of cities themselves? And maybe, closer to home, a city like Dubai, how can we overcome some of the potential challenges faced, as we mentioned, for communities in accessing that sustainable transport, because that's what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you for having me here. Congratulations on these numbers. These are very important numbers to be very proud of because, as you were saying, very few cities. It's easy to be a city from the 18th century and to add things to it than to be a city from the 21st century with our culture and our way of life that has evolved really around the car. And so to shift mode in a world where you can afford to get around in other ways is a huge hallmark for the achievement. So you should all be very proud of this space. There's a saying that I really like says that a country's success is not when its poor citizens can drive cars, it's when its rich citizens use public transport, right? That's a really important metric to have because it's a choice. So I think it's really valuable. From the technology perspective and from the connectivity pieces, there's so much that we can do, but we need to step back first and understand what are we measuring? Why is it important to be sustainable? Well, because we want to be around. We want our next generations to enjoy the world that we've also enjoyed as ourselves as well. So understanding what to measure is what we will do first, and then we can figure out what the right way to do it. In San Francisco, for example, when I was the Chief Innovation Officer there, we had about 40% of all trips by walking, public transport, and bicycling, which is a good number for a US city, but 60% by car. And that was just too high because it was just too congested all the time. We couldn't get around. After a few years of working on developing a very clear metric and a framework of how we're going to measure things, how we're going to focus using technology to help us get that information, we've managed to shift it from 60-40 to 50-50.
Wow.
So there was a space of 60. Actually, we didn't believe the numbers. We had to go and invite UC Berkeley to do the analysis for us because we thought this doesn't make. How do we change so quickly? So we brought them in, they basically verified that we did in fact change, and now it's at 55-45. So even though I left many years ago, the policies are in place. So setting up very robust policies, very clear frameworks, and very clear metrics, and using technology to help you achieve those things, then you can start shifting the whole system. And so whether you electrify the transport system, whether you increase the walkability of it, you increase the bikeability of it, you make the transit system more inclusive, you increase the density around the stations, all these things help with the metrics to get you more connected.
And Frank, if I can bring you in here, because we're talking about accessibility, sustainability in terms of transport. You've overseen several urban project developments in Germany. How have you designed and implemented those to make the most of these projects and to minimize environmental impact and then get those maximum social benefits?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me here in this ambitious and interesting audience as well. As managing director of Tegel Projekt GmbH, I'm responsible for the leading one of the most ambitious development projects in Germany as well as in Europe. So, and our focus is on combining ecological responsibility, social equity, and also economic innovation. And so we have three key principles. It's sustainability, innovation, and participation. They're really affordable and necessary for us. In the sustainability as a cornerstone of the development, I think it's really important to bring together a residential quarter with developing in sustainable technology, especially in Berlin. We are protecting, they all have the project in wood building materials for the living quarter, for the apartments, and also the energy supply bring together in only renewable energy. So in our project, we fit it all together in one solution, and also the sustainable mobility as well as e-mobility and car-free zones, and also the expansion of public transportation. It's also necessary. And the second point is in the innovation, bring together university also with startups, with company, and giving space and the possibility to create new technologies for urban technology. And the third point I mentioned is the participation and social inclusion between all the stakeholders. This is really necessary between the citizens in the city, also the policy makers, also companies, university, and other stakeholders. It's really necessary to protect our development future cities.
And what we come back to is it's all connected. And as you mentioned, the stakeholders are key, and the RTA are doing an excellent job of making sure they're listening, they're talking, they're understanding what the people of this city need. Now, if I can come back to you, Mr. Abdelmohsen, the RTA has recently awarded the contract for the Metro Blue Line. Personally, very excited about this as a resident of the city. We want to know more details. Please tell us, can you give us any more information about the mega project? Can you tell us how it will help to make Dubai a more sustainable city?
Thank you. I believe it's important to mention that there are various frameworks implemented by many cities around the world to do the transition from the vehicle to public transportation system. And many cities, they impose congestion fees, vehicle registration, high vehicle registration fees. But in Dubai, our approach is different. Our philosophy is different. It's based on the people and the human. The people is the centric of everything we do. And this is how we have designed our Blue Line project in Dubai. You know, for the people who don't know, maybe Dubai Metro, since it started in 2009, carried around 35,000 passengers a day. And nowadays, because of the city's, the growth that the city have seen, now we're carrying 850,000 passengers a day. This growth, made us to develop a railway master plan for the whole Dubai and to expand the network. Blue Line, it is part of our overall plan. It's extending the network by 30 kilometers and which 15.5 kilometers are underground and 14.5 kilometers is above ground on the viaducts with 14 stations. So this new line will serve a key 9 new areas, including Mirdif, Al-Warqa, Creek Harbor and Tower, Ras Al Khor International City 1 and 2, but more importantly that this line will serve a new CBD according to Dubai Urban Plan 2040, which is Dubai Silicon Oasis. Will connect all this new area, this new line will connect all this new area through 3 interchange station with our current green and red line. But this will provide the methodology that we talk, or the principle that we talk, that will provide the connectivity for this new area to the airports and to other communities around the cities. And we are expecting that this new line will carry 200,000 passengers a day on 2030,
wow,
just after completion of the project. And gradually it will increase to achieve 320,000 passengers a day by 2040.
Wow. It's an ambitious goal, and I want to move to you actually, Tim, because, you know, this is a transition we're making a commitment to. We want a cleaner, smarter, sustainable future that involves more people using public transport. But how can we fund these without overburdening the government or the end user, the consumer's pocket?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to fund these things, and they become choices. So we can choose to fund things either through a toll, a fee, or a tax. But we have to basically figure those discussions out. You can see, for example, other cities around the world, like New York, for example, just passed a congestion relief fee to access Manhattan, which by definition is one of the world's most congested cities. And it shouldn't be, because it's such a beautiful place to walk and to bicycle and to take public transport. But those fees, they're going to be using to augment the public transport system, because people, when they talk about shifting out of cars, what are you shifting into? You have to have the capacity there to shift into something else. London did the same thing, Singapore's done the same thing. Hong Kong, to your point before, Hong Kong's done it through development. They densify, and the increment above they do what's called tax increment financing, or value capture. So the value they capture above what would have been 5-story building is now 50. That development tax is used to fund the building of the stations. So some cities do transit-oriented development. Most Asian cities do development-oriented transit, right? So that's another funding mechanism. And then there's other ways you can look at it through passing a VAT tax or different services. But I think the most sustainable way to do things moving forward is going to be more of a usage fee based on the benefit that it gives based on what you do. So one of the things we've been talking about a lot is that, you know, when you drive in a car, when you walk, for example, our feet are our best transport we have, right? We take up about 1 square meter of space as we move through a city. A city is all about geometry. So we take up 1 square meter of space as we walk through the city. If we bicycle or have a scooter of some sort, we take about 1.5 square meters of space. But when you're in a car, you take 8 square meters of space just for the car, 16 to park, and 64 square meters just to move. This is why a bus or a train can take hundreds of vehicle trips off the road. Look at the freeway here. It's 8 or 10 lanes wide, but 1 lane above it is the viaduct, and it's carrying more people than most of the freeway does, right? So there's ways you can look at it from a geometry and efficiency perspective, and then you can charge a fee based on what you use. Ideally, we would be paid to walk and paid to bicycle, because it benefits society, it benefits the environment, it benefits safety. And public transport and driving would be the negotiation. And so, but making sure that everybody has access and can get around in the cheapest, quickest, safest, and most sustainable way really is the public policy directive of cities. And I think we're seeing here an example. This is a really great showcase of how we can look at things, not just electrification, not just automation, not just sharing, but how does it work as a system? And how does that system connect and meet those criteria that helps build a national economy? And I think the Dubai is one of the best examples so far.
I think what you're also talking about is that buy-in.
Exactly.
from the public and the education, and that's what the leadership are investing a lot in, making sure the public is buying into understanding that this public transport not only works, but it might get you there faster and more efficiently. And if I can come to you, Frank, on that matter, urban development is about reshaping cities. We're looking at green solutions here. We're looking at energy efficient buildings, all of those things. But what does it take for us to advocate for those greener cities, smarter cities, and what roles do the leaders, the governments, play in making sure that we understand that?
I think the green solutions are not only the necessity, but also a great opportunity for the cities of the future to make them more liable and also sustainable. And I think it's for the leaders, it's a main rule to give a clear vision, to work on with other stakeholders, to work on missions, how to reach the vision, how to reach the solutions. And I think it's a working together. We all, from policymakers and businesses to citizens, share a collective responsibility to achieve this achieve this in the future. So it's really important to have a clear vision what I want to do in the sustainable city, which businesses I want to have here, what kind of innovations I want to build up. So we brought a clear vision about what we want to do in Berlin with the Urban Tech Republic on the former inner city airport, to have companies or branches from electricity, mobility, water, waste management, material construction designs. And it's really important to have this clear policy and rules for as a leadership for those projects.
Thank you. We are drawing to a close, but before I let you go, if I can get from each of you a very brief summation of what your vision is for the cities of tomorrow. Mr. Abdelmohsen, if I can start with you, what's your vision for the cities of tomorrow?
Yeah, thank you. I will start with a short story. Before launching Dubai Metro in 2009, we proposed a few policies, changes in fuel policy to encourage the shift from private vehicle and encourage people to use a public transportation system, because it was the first mass transit system in Dubai. So we proposed to the government that we will implement one of the policies increasing the vehicle registration fees. And we were told that no, we will not accept increasing any fees on the citizens. You go back and design your system to compete the vehicle. So that was the philosophy. So if my vision will be to create a sustainable, connected, creative cities that provide the quality of life for everyone, providing the seamless connectivity, encouraging transit-oriented development, smart city, green stuff, and also multimodal share where you can merge and bring all the mode of transport together, so the people will have an option to select.
So, Tim, if I can come to you next, your vision for cities of tomorrow.
Yeah, so I'd love to see our cities move away from being these places that don't feel natural, that feel very stressful. Cities aren't loud, cars are loud. And so when you remove cars, cities become very quiet, and you can actually hear songs, or you can hear birds, you can hear leaves, you can hear high heels, you can hear children laughing. So let's make our cities more livable, but more lovable. People travel all over the world just so they can walk in certain parts of certain cities around the world because they love those spaces. So let's focus on creating beautiful spaces that are livable, lovable, and enjoyable, and then everything else kind of like will work from that. But the idea from the 20th century that we had everything was starting from the point of the car and the driver. Now we're going to start from the point of the person and the space and the place. And if we can start from there, we're going to see some dramatic changes. And we're already seeing them happening in places like Dubai. So I feel like if we can do it here, we can do it anywhere. It's really exciting.
Amazing. If we can finish with you, Frank. Vision of cities of tomorrow, what would you like to see?
Yes. I think now it's good to make an addition to what the colleagues already said. For me, right now, it's like a little bit like an innovation park where people, researchers, universities, companies, they all live together and find solutions for the future. It's a permanent movement in the city of the future, and like in the history also, but in the future we have all those things. It's not so loud, the sustainability and stuff like that, but the main important things, it's a live laboratory to find the solutions for the next future and the next future and so on.
Amazing. So, sustainable cities at the intersection of economy and environment. That was our panel. If you take something away from our conversation today, please, when you're thinking about sustainable cities, make them livable, make them lovable. I think that's really, really nice. Thank you to our panelists, Abdul Mohsen Ibrahim, CEO of rail agency Roads and Transport Authority, Dubai, Tim Papandreou, future mobility expert, and Frank Wolters, managing director of Tegel Projekt. Thank you, all three of you, for your time and insights today. It was a pleasure to have you on the stage. Thank you.